I was being invited like right off the bat. It was interesting, way quicker than I thought. Like within the first few months, I was being invited to Washington, D.C. to like join these national groups working on traffic safety at the federal level. And I was like, whoa, I don't know anything about the federal scene. I mean, I know it's important and it looks like a mess and it's probably a lot even harder than I think all this work at the city and state levels are. Anyways, I was being invited in and, and I remember very well the first in-person meeting, sitting in a big kind of fancy boardroom at this international group of, transportation folks and, look around the table and it's a lot of very established seeming groups and people, very, I would say, male and white dominated, and people who've been doing it for decades. So, as we're introducing ourselves, somebody would be like, well, I was the director of this federal agency, and now I'm running this. And they're just going around the room and they're rattling off these acronyms that I have no idea. I'm like writing them down to look them up. Now of course I'm weirdly rattling them off. But in this first meeting, I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I, I'm going to say what I'm doing, but why in the world? Like, was this a mistake that they invited me? I was really nervous. And it was interesting, like right away, people were like looking to me to like, what do you think, Leah? And, what do the cities think? And like, they're asking me to speak for these cities, not for, but, represent the cities. And I'm thinking, I just started this group a couple months ago. I barely have a website. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing. But I honestly, and I surprised myself, they really were very open and welcoming and expectant. I think they had this idea of like, oh, you're doing this, you have value. We care about what the cities are doing. So I just kind of stepped into it and was like, yeah. I just answered the questions the best I could. When I didn't know something, I was honest of like, got to be honest with you. I'm the new kid on the block. I'm not sure what that acronym means, but let me tell you what I think about blank, blank, blank. And it did, thank goodness, it did feel well accepted. And I think for me, I think it was a combination of, I do think for me that it doesn't work for everyone, but like an honest level of humility where I was like, hey, again, I am the new kid on the block, or thanks so much for having me. And, I know I have a lot to learn from you guys. And I wasn't shy about that at all. And at the same time saying, here's the stuff we're working on and it's really important. And I really think we need to pay more attention to it. So this combination of, hey, I'm bringing something of value, or I'm representing, I would say, valuable stuff, information for others. And I got a lot to learn. I'll also say I have leveraged that new kid on the block thing to be able to have, I think, more open and honest conversations with people. After that, I would call somebody and be like, hey, I'm the new kid on the block again, blah, blah. I would use that a lot and be able to say like, can you explain this to me? Like, tell it to me like I'm, a 5-year-old. And they would really explain it. And, I could dig into some of the, well, why is it that way? And then you'd start to understand some of the like, maybe relationship stuff and tension stuff and stuff that you're not going to get in the meeting, right? It's not on the agenda, but this background stuff of like, oh yeah, it's been this way forever because of this thing that happened 5-10 years ago. And that's why this seemed weird in the meeting. And that's important because, there's some power dynamic going on there. So, I feel like being okay, like asking questions and being honest about what I don't know and what I want to learn really helped me not just catch up quickly in this new realm, but I think forge relationships that help me do the work better sooner.
Well, I think it's interesting because I would imagine coming in with that new kid on the block role, it allows people to trust you because they realize that you're not entrenched in all these crazy relationships that have Frankensteined over time that have created these blockages. Yeah. So maybe they felt more open to you and willing to discuss that. And that gave you a bit of an edge when you think about it, as far as gathering information and thinking about solutions to certain problems. And what you're saying about how you said, I'll be honest, I'm the new kid on the block. So I don't know everything, but and then this balance of here's what we're working on, and it's really important. I think having that balance of course, like that's the magic that's the magic recipe. It can't just be, oh, I don't know because I'm the new kid on the block, because then you cut yourself out of the conversation. Yeah. But it's the combo of, well, I don't know, and here's what we're doing. And it's really cool. And I think that, from what I've witnessed about how you operate and how you get things done, that feels to me like your special sauce is you're not like rah, 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 we're the best. You're like you said, there's this honest humility coupled with this passion and enthusiasm that is just really great leadership. So
thank you.
It's nice.